It's Michael and
Ian.
and we're in Kyoto together now. Ian just arrived, and it's sunny and beautiful here. It's kind of painful watching the cherry blossoms fall. And we just wanted to send an update and also thank everybody who's been supporting us. The interesting thing about fundraising for this project hasn't just been the fact that we were able to raise a little more money than we hoped, but also so many people contacted us, people in different places in Japan, people who had friends in Japan, artists, activists, scientists, and it's been really lovely to be able to make those connections and in a way that's been more meaningful even than just being able to raise the money. And you know, we plan as the trip goes on, and you know, in the process of making this documentary and researching to update you on whatever we come across.
Yeah, and it's been my first experience here in Japan, and Michael's as well, and finding it very beautiful, especially this time of year. And just the sort of simple, I don't know how to describe it, like the way they use space, the way they design objects, any type of object seems to have some sort of artistry to it. And so it'd be very interesting to follow up on those elements in this film and to juxtapose it with things like nuclear power and what the challenges are that we need to face to move forward in this time of transition.
It's interesting because the feeling of being here at a time in the season where it's so stunning, and also knowing that underneath that there's also something really quite terrifying happening in this country. And then also the repression of the science around what's happening and the research around what's happening is so strong by the government that when you try and talk to people, and when I try and talk to people about this film we're making, there's just kind of a blank stare. It's interesting that a lot of people here don't really know what's going on. So it's interesting kind of holding these two things at the same time. This kind of what we've been calling a crystal ball, this fact that, you know, what's happening with Fukushima and nuclear power here is a crystal ball for all of us, and at the same time that it's so stunning and especially being in the temples and wandering the streets. It's interesting holding those two things at the same time.
So today is actually our first big day, I think, of shooting, and we're going to get started pretty soon. But wanted to say thank you again for your support for this film. We couldn't create it without you, so thanks again, and we'll check in maybe later this week.
Thank you.